She walked into a luxury restaurant carrying nothing but a basket of roses and left with an opportunity that would change her life forever. Moments earlier, a powerful CEO had humiliated her in front of everyone. But when a millionaire investor's deal began to crumble, the woman he'd just shamed became the only person who could save him. Stay until the end, because this story will remind you that sometimes the ones the world ignores are the ones who hold the power to change everything. Before we move on, please share with us which country you're listening from, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. It was a cold afternoon in New York City, and the kind of restaurant Naomi Brooks could only dream of entering. Marble floors, chandeliers that sparkled like frozen rain, and tables dressed in white linen. The Terrace Bistro in Midtown was where power lunches were served with champagne and multi-million-dollar handshakes. Naomi tightened her grip on the small wicker basket filled with roses, white and red, freshly cut that morning from a local flower market in Queens. She wasn't supposed to be there, not really, but she knew that on Tuesdays and Thursdays, executives and investors filled the place. Sometimes they bought a rose for a wife, sometimes for a mistress, and every once in a while, someone just offered her a kind smile. That was enough to keep her coming back. Naomi was 30 years old, with warm brown skin, natural curls tied back in a simple bun, and eyes that carried the quiet resilience of someone who'd learned to smile through struggle. She wore jeans, an old white blouse, and sneakers that had seen better days. Every petal in her basket was money for her mother's medication. She approached a middle-aged couple first. The man waved her away before she could speak. She thanked him anyway. Then she tried a woman dining alone, who didn't even look up from her phone. Finally, she noticed a table near the back. 3 men in suits, laughter loud enough to be heard across the room. At the center of that table sat Leonard Turner, the CEO of Turner Consolidated Construction, one of the most powerful developers in the country. Naomi recognized him instantly. She'd seen his face in business magazines, always photographed beside new skyscrapers and ribbon-cutting ceremonies. She took a breath, walked over, and waited politely for their conversation to pause. "Excuse me, gentlemen," she said softly. "Would any of you like to buy a rose? They're fresh." Before she could finish, Leonard didn't even look at her. "No," he said sharply, waving a hand. Naomi nodded, murmured, "Thank you," and took a step back. But then he turned fully toward her, eyes narrowing. There was no anger in them, just disdain. "Wait," he said. "You shouldn't be in here." Naomi blinked, unsure if she'd heard correctly. "This is a fine dining restaurant," Leonard continued, his voice carrying across the room. "Not a place for street vendors. I'll let you in." His colleagues chuckled awkwardly. One of them, Victor Ramirez, looked down, embarrassed. A waiter, Ryan Miller, hurried over. "Sir, I don't care what she usually does," Leonard interrupted. "Get her out of here." Naomi's face flushed with shame. The entire restaurant had gone silent. Dozens of eyes were on her, a woman who didn't belong. "I'm sorry," she said quietly, her voice trembling. "I didn't mean to disturb anyone." "You already did," Leonard replied coldly. And with that, he turned his back on her. Naomi turned to leave, but before she could, the glass door of the restaurant opened, and the air seemed to shift. A tall man entered, wearing a white thobe, traditional Middle Eastern attire, followed by 2 bodyguards in dark suits. His presence commanded instant respect. Everyone knew who he was. Sheikh Khalil Al-Mansour, a Dubai-based investor overseeing a multi-million-dollar construction partnership with Turner's company. Leonard was on his feet in seconds. "Sheikh Khalil, what honor." Khalil nodded politely, but seemed distracted. He spoke quickly to his security in Arabic, frustration building in his tone. Then his phone rang, and he began pacing, still in Arabic, voice rising. Naomi, who was still near the exit, froze. She understood every word. The sheikh was furious. His business partner in Dubai had just canceled a critical shipment of building materials, the very shipment that would keep the Turner project alive. The entire deal was about to collapse. Leonard moved closer, clueless but desperate to appear helpful. Sheikh Khalil, is there a problem? Maybe I can. Khalil snapped. You don't speak Arabic, Leonard. I can't fix this through a translation app. Leonard looked helplessly at his colleagues. The restaurant was dead silent. Naomi's heart pounded. She knew she should walk away. She'd already been humiliated. But something inside her, maybe pride, maybe empathy, refused to let her stay silent. She stepped forward. I can help, she said quietly. Leonard turned, stunned. You again, he hissed. This isn't the time. I speak Arabic, Naomi interrupted. For a moment, even the chandeliers seemed to stop shimmering. The sheik turned his gaze to her, surprised. You speak Arabic? He asked, this time in Arabic, fluently. Naomi replied, in the same language. I studied for 8 years. May I help you? The sheik blinked, impressed. Leonard looked between them, baffled. What is she saying? What's going on? Quiet, Khalil told him, handing Naomi his phone. Fix this. Naomi took a deep breath and called the sheik's partner, Omar Haddad, in Dubai. The man on the other end was furious, his voice sharp and distrustful. Naomi spoke calmly, professionally, introducing herself, explaining that she was assisting Sheikh Khalil personally. Gradually, the man's tone softened. He explained the issue. The payment for the shipment hadn't been confirmed. Without proof, he couldn't risk releasing millions in materials. Naomi translated for Khalil with precision. He says the first payment wasn't confirmed. He needs documentation before he can ship the containers. I made the transfer yesterday, Khalil said, exasperated. It's confirmed. Naomi translated again, then listened to Omar's reply. He says he never received proof. He needs a scanned document or email confirmation from a bank. Leonard tried to interject. Maybe my accountant can. Silence, Khalil snapped. Naomi thought for a moment. Then she proposed something no one else had considered. What if you make a live video call right now, she suggested in Arabic, and showing the transaction directly from your banking app? You could take a screenshot for verification until the bank's email arrives. The sheik's eyebrows lifted. Brilliant, he said. Leonard scoffed, whispering, this is absurd, but Khalil ignored him. Moments later, the video call connected. Khalil held up his phone, showing the confirmed wire transfer, date, amount, reference number. Omar took a screenshot, verified the details, and finally smiled. It's done, he said. The containers are being released right now. Khalil exhaled in relief. Naomi handed back the phone with trembling hands. The sheik turned to Leonard. Do you know how much she just saved us? He said. Leonard could only stare. Then Khalil looked at Naomi. You didn't just translate. You solved the problem. Naomi shrugged modestly. I only found a practical solution. What's your name? Naomi Brooks. Where did you learn Arabic? In college. I majored in linguistics and specialized in Arabic. I used to work as a translator until the company closed. My mother's sick, so I started selling flowers. It gives me flexibility. Khalil's eyes softened. You're educated. You sacrificed your career to care for your mother. Naomi nodded. It wasn't a sacrifice. It was a choice. The sheik paused, visibly moved. He reached into his pocket and handed her a card. This is my private number. I like to talk about a proposal. Leonard tried to regain control, forced a laugh. That's very generous, Sheik, but let's not forget why we're. Khalil cut him off coldly. We will discuss respect, Leonard. You and I. The restaurant had fallen completely silent again. Naomi, the woman who'd been thrown out moments ago, now sat at the sheik's table, holding his personal card. A week later, Naomi stood before the towering glass building on Park Avenue, heart racing. Inside, the sheik's American headquarters looked like something out of a movie, marble, wood, and quiet power. She was greeted by Maya Patel, the sheik's assistant. Mr. Al-Mansour is expecting you. In his office, Khalil smiled warmly. Naomi, I'm glad you came. I trust your mother is well. She's better, Naomi said. Thank you. I hired someone to help care for her. They discussed the contract. 3 months as cultural and language consultant, flexible hours, $8,000 a month. Naomi could hardly believe it was real. Just as they were wrapping up, the door burst open. Leonard Turner walked in, unannounced. "Khalil, we need to talk," he said, ignoring Naomi completely, until he saw her. His face went pale. "What is she doing here?" "She works for me now," Khalil said evenly. "Sit down." Leonard swallowed hard. "About the restaurant. It was a misunderstanding." "No," Khalil interrupted. "You humiliated a woman who spoke to you with respect. That tells me everything I need to know about your character." Leonard stammered. I made a mistake." Khalil folded his hands. "If you had known she was educated, fluent in Arabic, would you have treated her differently?" Leonard hesitated, then whispered, "Yes." "Exactly," Khalil said. "That's why I can't trust you." Leonard pleaded, but Khalil looked at Naomi. "What do you think? Should I give him another chance?" Naomi looked at Leonard, red-faced, ashamed. "I think everyone deserves a second chance," she said gently, "if they truly change." Khalil nodded. "You heard her. This is your warning, Leonard. Don't waste it." Weeks later, Khalil discovered that Leonard's company had a history of corruption and negligence. Unpaid workers, substandard materials, lawsuits. He canceled the contract completely. When Leonard confronted him, Khalil replied, "How you treat those who can't give you anything shows who you really are." Naomi, meanwhile, was thriving in ways she never thought possible. Each day brought new challenges and new chances to prove herself. She translated high-stakes meetings between American executives and Middle Eastern investors, bridging not only languages, but cultures and values. When tempers flared during a negotiation, Naomi's calm voice and precise phrasing restored trust. When a contract stalled because of a cultural misunderstanding, she reframed it in a way that both sides could agree on. Her emails were professional and meticulous. Her reports, thorough and insightful. Soon, everyone in the office knew. If you wanted something done right and done with heart, you went to Naomi Brooks. Even the Sheikh began relying on her beyond translation, that he would ask, "Naomi, what's your perspective on this partnership?" And she would answer with confidence, analyzing tone, respect, and ethics, not just business. That he admired that she saw people before numbers, character before profit. Then came the day she was called into the conference room. The glass walls gleamed in the afternoon light, reflecting the skyline of New York City. Inside sat Sheikh Khalil and two senior directors, Eric Shun and Laura McKenzie, smiling as she entered. "Naomi," Khalil said, standing to greet her, "please have a seat." Khalil exchanged a glance with his directors, then turned back to her. "These past 3 months," he said, "you've exceeded every expectation we had. You've handled 17 international contracts, mediated 23 high-level meetings, and saved us from at least 3 potential crises. More than that, you've earned the respect of every partner we work with, and mine most of all." Naomi's throat tightened. She tried to speak, but the words wouldn't come. "That's why," Khalil continued, "we'd like to offer you a permanent position, full-time, $15,000 a month, and full health coverage for both you and your mother." Naomi gasped, covering her mouth with her hands. Her eyes filled instantly with tears. I don't know what to say." "Thank you, Sheikh Khalil. Thank you for believing in me." Khalil smiled, that calm, steady smile that carried the weight of wisdom. "I didn't believe in you, Naomi," he said gently. "I simply saw who you already were. The world just needed to catch up." Tears rolled down her cheeks as she laughed softly, overwhelmed with gratitude. For the first time in years, she didn't feel invisible. She felt seen, completely, undeniably seen. That weekend, Naomi returned to the Terrace Bistro, but this time, not with a basket of roses. She wore a navy dress, heels, and carried herself like the woman she'd always been inside. The waiter, Ryan, recognized her instantly. "You're the flower lady," he stammered. "You look incredible." Naomi smiled. Thank you. I'm here to celebrate. She ordered the restaurant's most expensive dish. When the meal ended, she tipped generously that on her way out, she saw a young woman selling flowers outside. Nervous, uncertain, just as Naomi once was. How much for all of them? Naomi asked. All of them? The girl blinked. That's $80. Naomi handed her 160. Keep the change. And never let anyone make you feel small for working honestly. The girl's eyes shimmered. Thank you. Naomi walked back inside and placed a single rose on each woman's table. Smiles followed her path. The final rose she left on the very table where Leonard had once sat, with a handwritten note. For those who still need to learn how to truly see people. Outside, the city glowed in golden light. Naomi lifted her face toward the sunset and smiled. She hadn't just changed her destiny. She had reclaimed her dignity. What about you? Have you ever been judged by how you looked, only to prove everyone wrong? Please share your experiences in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you, and thank you for tuning in to Hopeful Voices. Please also don't forget to subscribe to our channel.